Aries, the uncomfortable truth is not coming to hurt you. It arrives because the alibi has already worn out. The clean cut is not hardness. It is taking away a defense that is visible from a mile away and refusing to let it stay ambiguous. Moon Square Palace puts identity, body, and presence under a concrete audit. What changes, what remains, what must be decided. This is the point where you realize you are not cold. You are just avoiding being touched. The shadow does not want to dominate the day. It wants to stop operating under the table while that defense keeps its name hidden. The real loss today would be to look clear on the outside and still not fully honest on the inside. For Aries, courage is not charging ahead blindly. It is deciding without handing the wheel to haste. Move. Ask yourself what you are really protecting before you defend it. Use it before you protect a version of yourself that costs too much. Taurus, do not miss an opportunity that will not come back in the same form. It looks small, but it can shift the day. You do not need more preparation. The opportunity is already on the table, and the sky is asking you to read it without dressing it up. With Jupiter active, the home root's emotional base area can expand, but only if you choose one concrete direction. If you wait for certainty, the useful signal turns into noise. If you act with measure, it becomes direction. This is the moment when something opens, but only if you stop asking for guarantees first. For Taurus, the day asks you not to use caution as a parking spot for the problem. The stake is simple. Do not reach tomorrow feeling you saw the right opening and arrive too late. If the real possibility stays only as intuition, the day keeps the opening but loses your presence. Move. Choose the opening that feels most real and give it a small, immediate form. Come back here when the day asks you to choose the cleanest opening. Gemini, before you give shape to a newly exposed identity, remove the sentence that only wants to win. Venus is activating identity, body, and presence, so the choice cannot stay automatic. This is a minimal scene, but not a harmless one. A small gesture decides how much room you leave to reflex. The easy choice looks tiny. The cost shows up once you have already said yes. The price is not dramatic, and that is exactly why it is dangerous. You confuse presence with attack. For Gemini, the easy exit is to explain everything. The stronger one is to say less and choose for real. Presence today only works if it doesn't turn into a loud shield. Ask yourself this: are you doing it to choose better or to stop feeling the tension? Make one visible, small move, and do not explain your whole strength. Revisit it when the easy gesture suddenly looks harmless. Cancer. For Cancer, recovery today is not escape. It is maintenance of clarity. A clean warning. If a balance that needs to be brought back into line stays without limits, later it will speak with less grace. Moon Square Palace puts relationships, agreements, and confrontation under pressure, but the signal should not be inflated. It also cannot be left without consequences. Protecting your energy today is not disappearing. It is preventing a balance that needs to be brought back into line from eating the right choice alive. This is the moment when the body or the heart stops whispering and starts asking for a gentle but concrete decision. The stake is not wasting all your energy to keep standing up a shape that no longer deserves that cost. For Cancer, the right care today includes the boundary that keeps you whole. If you keep sacrificing that need, clarity pays before the result does. Move. Cut one non-essential demand and give that margin back to the part of you that must stay clear. Send it to whoever needs to choose care today without asking permission. Leo. Today, a brief decision is worth more than a perfect explanation. The knot is not huge, but it is precise. A dead end that wants a clean cut decides how clear you stay in the scene. Jupiter opens a threshold on the identity-body-presence axis. You can enter only with direction, not with a hunger for reassurance. It is an almost ordinary kind of pressure. which is exactly what makes it dangerous. You postpone it, and meanwhile it starts steering your tone. The day turns when the gesture enters the scene and forces a dead end that wants a clean cut to become measurable. The stake is getting out of the mental loop. If nothing moves, the block remains respectable. For Leo, the risk is trying to hold the tone and losing the most honest point. If you do not touch that block, the day passes and the problem keeps its throne. Move. Close one door, send one reply, shift one commitment. One thing only. But make it real. Save it before you give another day to a block just because it knows how to dress up as caution. Virgo. There is a narrow window for Virgo. If you wait too long, it becomes noise. The scene splits into two thresholds. One protects comfort, the other protects what truly matters. Jupiter makes the rest closure's inner preparation zone more generous, but also riskier if you confuse trust with dispersion. This is a passage on tiptoe, the kind that rewards people who do not confuse caution with sleep. If you keep watching too long, a choice that needs to be made before it loses force can lose weight not because it was false, but because you missed its timing. The real loss today would be treating as noise the passage that can restore direction to the day. For Virgo, the day improves when you stop using clarity as a shield against action. If you let that choice evaporate, you do not just lose an opening. You lose trust in your ability to recognize one. Move. Answer the opening with a small act, not with a big theory. Come back here before you call fantasy what is really asking for timing. Libra. If a price with no name still has no measure, someone will use your silence as a discount. The proof arrives quietly. A price with no name can be recognized by the way it moves you, even without making a scene. Venus on the vision travel study axis opens contact, but also the harder question: how much are you giving away just to feel chosen? This is a practical scene that can look technical, but it is really measuring your ability to give shape to value. The practical boundary protects dignity here. Do not let the measure depend only on politeness. For Libra, kindness matters more when it does not erase the limit. The real loss today is not looking strict. It is giving away value without even naming it first. If that cost stays implied, it does not disappear. It simply moves from the number to your availability. Move. Turn the favor into clear conditions right away, so you can see whether it still feels healthy. Use it before you give away time just to avoid one conversation. Scorpio. If a possibility that needs grounding knocks softly today, do not wait until it becomes obvious. Draw a line. Up to here, a possibility that needs grounding may enter. Beyond this point, it must become a choice or leave. Jupiter expands the career role public direction axis, and the opportunity only grows if it does not become excess. It is the kind of opening that looks too small to change the day until you miss it. If you wait for certainty, the useful signal becomes noise. If you act with measure, it becomes direction. The real loss today would be treating as noise the passage that can restore direction to the day. For Scorpio, the risk is managing the scene perfectly and leaving the center unresolved. The door does not always disappear. Sometimes it stays open, but you arrive with less force. Move. Do not open 3 scenarios. Confirm the small step that keeps the best possibility alive. Tomorrow will care more that you saw the opening than that you waited for the perfect signal. Sagittarius. Today, real care has a boundary, not an excuse. Do not look for 10 doors. Today, 1 is enough, if it truly passes through a level of fatigue that is already visible. Jupiter amplifies the vision travel study axis, and here luck looks more like timing than miracle. This is the point where recovery stops looking like a luxury and returns to being the base that keeps everything else from going wrong. When you take pressure off the right place, a level of fatigue that is already visible gives back more clarity than another show of endurance ever would. For Sagittarius, the day asks for breadth with responsibility, not an elegant escape from the inconvenient detail. The stake is protecting the living margin from which tone, response, and good judgment depend. The risk is calling endurance what has already become consumption. Move. Protect 1 hour, 1 boundary, or 1 slow reply. Today, recovery has to be organized, not hoped for. Capricorn. Today, the shadow becomes useful only if it stops speaking from behind and finally takes a precise name. Imagine one room. Inside, there is an unspoken home issue that is steering everything, your reaction, and what you no longer want to carry. Saturn tightens the home root's emotional base area, not to punish, but to remove fragile supports. This is the moment when you feel that an excuse no longer protects you. It is only slowing you down. The shadow is not the enemy today. It is the point where that unspoken home issue stops accepting convenient versions. The stake is not letting an old defense govern a new choice. The risk is saving face while leaving untouched the very thing that guides you from underneath. Move, name the point that stings, and build the boundary from there, not from the face you want to save. Come back here when control starts looking easier than truth. Aquarius. Today, care is not generic softness. It is a practical choice. Over the next hours, the point takes shape. If a physical limit not to push stays suspended, it loses precision. Jupiter shifts the margin across the relationships, agreements, confrontation field. And the opportunity is real, only if it does not become an inflated promise. It can look like a quieter room, a notification left outside, a body that stops negotiating. The gentle choice today is not escape. A physical limit not to push gives you back clarity before pressure decides for you. The stake is not spending good energy to sustain a shape that no longer serves. For Aquarius, intuition only matters today when it touches ground and takes form. The risk is ending the day standing up, but with a level of presence too low to choose well. Move. Defend your recovery with a visible boundary, not with a mental promise. Come back here before you hand urgency the part of you that should have stayed clear. Pisces. Do not pay with presence just because talking about price makes you uncomfortable. The shift in perspective matters. A cost left implied does not only tell you what weighs on you, it shows where you can intervene. Neptune veils the resource's money value axis, which is exactly why a small verification matters more than a huge feeling. It is the hidden cost of an answer given too fast. It looks like courtesy, but it shifts the weight onto your side. Value becomes real when a cost left implied stops being atmosphere and becomes a declared measure. For Pisces, the day rewards you if you turn intuition into action, not just into mood. The risk is accepting the wrong measure today and finding yourself tomorrow defending a boundary that has already been eroded. If that margin stays vague under polite tone, the price will be decided by whoever insists more. Move, turn the favor into clear conditions right away, so you can see whether it still feels healthy. Come back here before you confuse availability with concession without measure.